Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage Ronson standard automatic petrol lighter. It is covered with a leather wrap that I believe is some kind of reptile. Has a monogram spot that does show some corrosion. The upper mechanism has been replaced in an earlier video. It's a very cool old lighter. The leather wrap is still in very good condition, as is the rest of the lighter. I did say it's got corrosion there on the monogram spot, and I'm not real sure what to do about that. I may get out the polish and do a little bit of polishing. I don't want to do any damage to the leather though. And as you can see, maybe it's ostrich or something like that. I don't know. I used to say all the time I'm not a metals expert. I'm certainly not a leather expert. You can see that seam there along the back though, and it still seems to be holding pretty tight. Does not appear to be brittle or cracking or peeling off as you often see them doing. We replaced this entire upper mechanism. You can see the thumb lever is marked Ronson. The snuffer cap was, I believe, an aftermarket kit or from an aftermarket kit of some kind. The gears that you normally fit into the side of the snuffer cap were integrated, built into this snuffer. You can see it is marked Ronson Standard, Newark, New Jersey. All the normal fill here on the fill screw, and you can see plenty of plating loss there and corrosion to the flint spring screw. Sparks really well. I don't know what it is about some Ronson lighters in particular. It seems like maybe the file wheel's been worn, or maybe the clutch spring is weak in a certain position or something that takes a couple of turns or a couple of strikes of the wheel to get things going in the right direction each time. Not always, but this one seems to work real well. But the ignition, maybe I feel like that sometimes though, because I'm constantly lighting them right after I've fueled them, not really giving them time to settle down the volatility of the fuel. I think when I wasn't real familiar with this lighter. I wasn't familiar with it at all. You can still see that appears as though the seal or the gasket is still intact on that fill screw. But I believe there was a degraded flint that was right inside the fuel chamber. Either that or there was a bunch of dust that I didn't realize it when I unscrewed the cap and went to fill it. And because now it looks like a bunch of wet gray flint dust in there. So this may become a project lighter for a couple of reasons. As I was saying, I may try to polish that monogram slot just to see if I can shine that up a little bit. The mechanism all looks good, works well. I don't have any complaints about it. Got a good strong flame. I did not trim that wick up or anything. I just fueled it up. That might be something else that I should have done, and Giovanni will probably scold me that I didn't do it already. It might be nice if I could get a little bit more familiar with each lighter than having to have each of them such a passing glance through my hands as I make a video and move on to the next. You can see the typical Ronson mechanism there, as I said, except for the fact that the gears are built in. But you do have a file wheel with the teeth, and then the clutch spring riding alongside that. You got the fulcrum screw and the male fulcrum cap, along with the thumb lever marked Ronson. And I really can't tell. I'm not a Ronson expert or anything, but I really can't tell from the outside, without having that mechanism apart, that snuffer is any different from any of the others. It seems to work just fine, but you can't tell that those gears are integrated, that there's anything different about it. The bad thing about using a leather covered lighter is that you're putting additional wear on it, and I have definitely ruined a lighter or two that I could have otherwise sold by wearing the leather off of them. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with this one. See, I put that Ronson Redskin in there, and it was a little bit degraded on the back end of it. I don't remember what lighter it came out of or where I found it. But there won't be any problem until it gets down to the fact that it's going to be so small it's a problem anyway. So anyway, I wouldn't sell it with that in it, but I don't have any problem getting every bit out of all the flint that I have down there in that tub. I'm not real picky when it comes to putting one in. I got some lighters that only need shorter ones. I got that Cupid that you try to put a full length flint in it, it won't make the turn. But that flint just slid right on down there, and then you can see the flint spring and flint spring screw doing just the same. I got kind of tired of working on Ronsons there for a while. Everywhere I turned, there was a Ronson. Every time I turned around, there was a Princess sitting there that needed the flint tube cleared out on. But the Ronson standards are some of my favorite lighters when they work correctly, when you've got them firing away. And I've still got the one in the store that has the tortoise brown stripes, kind of broad stripes, like 5 of them going down the front of it. And man, it lights every time. It's a very works very well, and it's a very handsome lighter. Definitely one of the best looking lighters that I've ever had. I don't know that I would say the best looking. I've had some pretty handsome looking lighters, and this is a good looking lighter. Nothing too great, nothing too fantastic. Until next time.